What do all of these shows and movies have in common? None of them would have been conceived if it hadn't been for one man in a prison cell. I am that man. My name is Kwame Teague, and I've been incarcerated for 32 years for a crime I did not commit. This is my story. I'm not really here right now. I am in a cell in North Carolina prison. But through the wonders of technology, I can bring you to me. You are in my head right now. Welcome to my world, where it all began. North New Jersey, a.k.a. the Brick City. These are the streets that born my youthful reality. Like Melly Mel said, you'll admire all the big money makers, and I did. But the thing that influenced me the most was hip-hop. Hip-hop opened my eyes to the possibilities of being, of self-creation. Yo, I was hooked. Unfortunately, hip-hop was also my gateway drug to the streets. Namely, selling drugs and stealing cars. No explain the same. But the streets weren't my only influence. I was raised Muslim, praying to the east. The example of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his family gave me a positive role model to emulate. Between hip-hop, Islam, and the streets, I was torn. So I had to move down south. My goal was to start a hip-hop music label. Goldsboro, North Carolina, where my mother's family's from. I hooked up with my cousin Charlie, Mickey, and A.B., and we started Triad Productions. I vowed to myself to leave the streets alone, and I concentrated on hip-hop in Islam. We began to make a name for ourselves, not only musically, but with the culture of Islam. We were doing a lot of positive things for the community, bringing the knowledge of self to Islam and the nation of gods and earth. A lot of people were becoming conscious to positivity and the possibility of being a better person. But not everyone's happy. We made a lot of people mad, a lot of white people mad. Now, yo, you gotta understand, when I say Goldsboro is a racist town, I mean a very racist town. Every summer, the KKK would march through downtown. Yo, this wasn't 1965 or 1892. This is 1992. I'm talking about lawyers, policemen, school teachers, church pastors, all members of the KKK. It was an open secret. They wanted to keep us blind, deaf, and dumb. So when two white people were found murdered in the black part of town, they saw an opportunity to kill two birds with one stone. When a cousin of a friend of mine was arrested for the murder of the two white people and confessed, they showed him my picture and browbeat him until he implemented me and his own cousin, Larry. Now, yo, even though Ed lied and got me arrested for something I had nothing to do with, I don't necessarily blame him. Ed had dementia. He wasn't in his right frame of mind. They manipulated him because they wanted me. Did he actually do the crime? I don't know. Unfortunately, he died on death row. The three detectives were named Sasser, Rachel, and Smith. They abused me for several hours, but never in the face, so they wouldn't leave bruises. They tried to get me to say I killed the people, but I had nothing to do with it. They usually tape interrogations, either audio or video, but with me, they didn't. You tell me what that sounds like. They wrote a statement in their own hands and said that that's what I told them. But the statement wasn't in my handwriting nor signed by me. It was their word against mine. Guess who the judge believed? The trial was a joke. I had one black person on the jury, and she turned out to be whiter than them. In fact, it was more like a legal lynching than a trial. All that was missing was the oak tree and the rope. Two jurors even got caught talking to the bailiff, but the judge shrugged it off, even though that was grounds for a mistrial on the spot. They found me guilty, of course, but then it was time for my co-defendant Larry's trial. Ed had already did everything he could to take us down to see us fry. It was crazy. So now, here I am, sitting in prison. The DA and everybody against us. This is why to this day I can't get no help. They buried me. They wanted me to die in here, but I refused to succumb. Even deep in that cell, under the type of heat, pressure, and time I was under, I still had one thing. My mind. I turned my thoughts into a story, and that story into a plan. I smuggled myself out in ink and named that version of myself Dutch. Then, I took over the world. Dutch was everywhere. In Harlem, in Miami, L.A. And from there was 1,000 urban books. In those urban books, turned into urban movies, urban shows such as Empire, Power, P-Valley. And that's why I told you, if it wasn't for me, this one man in the cell, there would be no urban TV. Meanwhile, my lawyer Arnold Jones, who had volunteered to take my case, we found out years later that he was a friend of the victim's family and their personal lawyer. He never disclosed that information, and he volunteered to take my case. Conflict of interest all day. I never had a hearing for that because the court lost half my trial transcript and threw away the evidence. This is all actual fact. These people did everything to keep me in here, but I never gave up, and that's when I hooked up with Manny Haley. At the same time, this same lawyer, Arnold Jones, was being arrested for bribery. This is when Dutch premiered on BET starring Lance Gross. Then I dropped Sin starring Louis Gossett Jr. After that, Crane, Sincerely Yours, Madam in the Mirror, and I produced Queen of the Trap, Serial Killer, and Twisted Love, all on Tubi. Now I need your help. I definitely got to the bag with these movies. I got to the bag with the books. But at the end of the day, I made a conscious decision to put my children first. They didn't ask to be here. And so as a father, I had a responsibility to raise them no matter where I was at. And so now, the opportunity has passed. It's not the same type of dough, but I don't regret man down. Now I got to just move forward and give report and make sure that I get other people to support me. Now I need everybody out there to support me. I need your financial support for the lawyer. I need your emotional support for my state of mind. And I need your digital support on all social media platforms. #free Kwame Teague. Peace.